In the course of tearing down the 66 Charger's front suspension, I removed both lower control arms. In this video, I'll restore and upgrade them. First, they need to be disassembled, starting with the Rebound bumpers, which are fastened with a 9/16 hex nut. Oh, it's spinning. I'm going to put you in a vise. Fit you in this way. That might hold. Never tried this before. Here's the looking. That's good. This one's sitting in its normal position. Put it this way on the vise. So 9/16 deep well socket. That shaft sticks up about 3/4 of an inch past the top of the nut. So let's hope we got a good bite. Oh, that wasn't bad. Nowhere near as tight as the first one. Yeah. The next piece to remove is the pivot shaft. Let's see if I can get them on there. Feels pretty solid. Looks like it came out with the sleeve on there. When I pushed out this pivot shaft, it brought along this metal sleeve that got bonded to it. That's the same as this metal sleeve inside this new bushing. This is the OEM style bushing. This piece came out along with the pivot shaft, which means the next step is to go in and remove the rubber that was left behind. See if we can get this rubber out. Oh, got really jammed in there. I got her stuck. Just push her back out. Mangled it, but it's out. Push on it, but alright, you're bottomed out. Oh wait, there we go. Just hooked on something. Alright. That leaves us with this little sleeve that has to come out yet. The next step is to take out this metal sleeve that's pressed in there. And the way to do that is to take a large washer, like a used shock absorber washer, and weld it on there. Then put this in the press and push out the sleeve with the washer. Alright, let's see how close we are. All the way through. It's got a gouge in there, as if someone chiseled one out. Before pressing in the new bushings, I first wanted to weld on these stiffening plates. I don't think there's any up or down, right or left, but there is a tapered end here. This was curved. And the reason for these braces is that this design allows for these two side pieces to splay apart. That's a normal amount of play. This is not a precise fit, but if these two start to spread apart, this joint gets very wobbly. And of course, it's quite central to the whole suspension system, since your torque rod comes in here and your pivot shaft sticks out of here. So it's important to keep this thing sturdy. The bump stop has a hole there, and the stud goes through. A hex nut gets fastened on there on that stud, so we need to have this hole above that hex nut opening. The process was the same for welding up the second control arm. After using a flap disc to clean up my welds, I squared up the edges with a mill file. So that gets the profile, these lines back to where they were. I gave the control arms a thorough cleaning with wax and grease remover before shooting them with self-etching primer. After that dried, I sealed them with gray primer. I had some leftover black spray paint, so I used it to coat the hard-to-reach nooks and crannies that my spray gun might miss. The rattle can's nozzle got stuck open, so I went ahead and used up the rest of its contents. Finally, I finished the control arms with 2 coats of chassis black paint. With the paint done, the new bushings could be installed. The first step was to press in this steel sleeve. I encountered a lot of resistance while trying to press in this first sleeve, probably because I had neglected to clean out the bore. Not only was there paint overspray in it, but I also recalled seeing chisel grooves down in the bore that might have been adding friction. The sleeve kept shedding a thin layer of material, which I periodically cleared away. With the metal sleeve fully seated, the next piece to install was the polygraphite bushing. This went in a lot easier. I made sure to prep the other control arm by cleaning out its bushing bore. I don't know what you can see down in there, but there's some gouges in there. That's pretty typical from what I've seen online. There you go. New bushing. This is the original style pivot shaft that I removed from the car, and I won't be using it again. Instead, I'm going to be using this new one from PST. This design is greasable, unlike the original. The original bushing basically put all the strain of whatever torque was going on with this lower control arm joint was just taken up by that thin rubber bushing as the lower control arm shifted around that pivot shaft. The new design uses this greasable bushing. As you can see, the pivot shaft has a hole here, and there's a threaded opening here for a grease zerk. You can fill up this pivot shaft with grease and it seeps out through that hole. And then inside the bushing, there are these channels that allow the grease to spread out evenly over the surface of the pivot shaft. So that allows this to actually rotate inside this bushing instead of the old design, which would essentially fatigue the rubber. So now that this bushing has been pressed in there, it's gotten a little smaller on the inside diameter, and this doesn't just shove right in. So I'm going to try giving it a little bit of synthetic grease. Yeah, I have to take it over to the press. It's go get the other one. Well, I suppose we ought to install the bumper. That's going to sit up top here. It didn't come with the hardware, so I went out and bought stainless hardware for it. Let's see how easy it is. Washer is too wide. I really should have a flat washer in there because it's not a round hole. It's a rectangular hole. I'll make a little trip over to the grinder. I'll be right back. shaved off the washer a little bit on either side. There we go. Now the lock washer. Alright. Try to keep this thing square. Squish the rubber. Looks pretty straight. So we're going to 200 inch-pounds. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'm fine with that. So I'm starting with a washer that I shaved the sides off of. Go up from underneath. There we go. Nut. I don't know if you can see, but everything's stacked up on there. I want to get this roughly straight. I'm trying not to hold it too much. Resist it too much. Put this on the K member now. Well, these control arms just slide right in like that into the K member, but I believe you first have to install the strut rod. That the strut rod has to go on along with the control arm. And before I can install this, I believe I have to press on a piece. And this is the set of bushings that I bought. They basically fit together like that and get sandwiched between these two washers. As you can see, there's a metal sleeve in the middle, and that sleeve has to sit on here. I already took the paint off, but that's not enough. So I think I might have to press this on. Oh, I got it stuck. This is a 5/8 socket, a deep well that'll slide over the threaded portion of that shaft. Should have thought of this first. There we go. All right, these are ready for bushings. So that'll make it so we can put that side in. And it'll get one of these bushings on there. Fit in that opening, but as you can see, this control arm can't be in place. This strut has to be installed first into the lower control arm before both of them can be installed on the K member. works. Yeah, slipping too much. Let's see if the scrap rubber will work. It's supposed to go to 110. If I do all right, that's 110 foot-pounds. This can slide in as an assembly. That's not bad. So put this on here. Oops, big glob. There's a flat washer for the pivot shaft. And the nut for this pivot shaft has 3 little peened points on one side. That's not the side to go on first. Use the other side. I'm just going to get that started. I want to get this one going too. So here's obviously the other bushing. Just to slide on. Something like that. This front strut nut takes 40 foot-pounds of torque. All right, that's one strut arm in. And there's this nut. Now that one is supposed to go to 130 foot-pounds according to the service manual. However, I don't know that I want to do that just yet because we have to hook up the torsion bar and get this adjusting arm positioned correctly before proceeding too far. But I'll snug that guy down. Forget what size it is. Huh, same size. 15/16. Let's see, I don't get a very big swing here. Let's try down here. Also not a big swing. Okay. We'll just leave it snugged up for now. And there is a little grease fitting that goes on the end of this pivot shaft. I'll grease this later. Let's go over and do the other side. So first things first, we have to install this into the control arm. It doesn't screw in, I'm just trying to get some of the paint to come off. Three-quarter inch socket. Let's see how we can do. We have game shot. All right. Pivot shaft washer, pivot shaft nut with the pins out. So we're going to 40 foot-pounds. This one goes to 130 foot-pounds according to the service manual. I'm just going to snug it down. Now, see, that's going to start moving, that adjuster. So you can't really torque this yet, so that adjuster is going to keep moving around. All right, so that nut is going to have to be tightened down on the vehicle when we have the torsion bar installed. For now, I'm just going to put in the grease zerk for safekeeping. What else should we do? Well, one thing we can do is install the adjusters. Here's one of the adjusters. It's got a bolt and a plate. The plate slides in like so. And the bolt goes in from underneath. And it screws in pretty far because it has to come up kind of above this surface. And then it butts up against this arm, and that's how you control how much angle there is on that lower control arm by loosening or tightening this. Can't do that yet though, gotta wait till we get it on the car. Since I already assembled all of the other parts, I decided to go ahead and install the lower ball joints. That's good. Should be the right hand. Yeah, that's the right hand ball joint. Now this gets torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Okay, do it. Little grease zerk can go in. 7mm. All right, that's one down. Put this in. Lower control arms are done. Thanks for watching.